Well, hello and welcome to Leadership Pathway. We're all about helping young leaders find great places to serve, helping those churches support and develop them, and then watching them launch into ministry full time. And we started Leadership Pathway. We're in our ninth year at this point. We're recording this in January of 2026. We're in our ninth year. It's hard to believe. And we've done almost 200 of these, and we get to talk to one of the 200 today. Nina, welcome to Leadership Pathway.
Thank you.
This is going to be a good time.
I'm excited.
When I opened the Zoom, because I use the Zoom to record these, I'm not that technically. And Nina's picture, like all people have a little photo, and her picture was just this girl with this huge smile. And I'm like, Nina, your picture just totally, it's on brand because that's who I know. That's what I know of you. It's just, you just smile. Tell us who are you and where are you? What are you doing? Introduce yourself.
Yeah. So I am currently at Mount Pleasant Christian Church
Okay.
in Greenwood, Indiana. My residency started back in July of 2024, and it's been an adventure. It's been a lot of fun. The really cool thing is that I've kind of gotten to visit different areas of ministry throughout the residency. So we knew at the start that I would be mostly focused on student ministry.
Mhm.
But that meant I got to start in middle school, and then I spent some time in the high school ministry, and then I moved to the young adult ministry that we're trying to develop. And then I'm currently back with the middle school, but also doing young adult stuff on the side.
Gotcha. And so you've had all these experiences. If you could just wake up and do whatever you wanted, which if you do find that job, let me know because I'm going to apply too. If you
Yeah,
could just get up and do what you want, where would you go? What area would you stay in? What would you do?
that's a great question. I've loved parts of every area that I've been able to work in. So it would probably be a mix of middle school and probably young adults because I love just the fact that with middle school, you have the excuse to just be goofy with them all
Yeah.
the time, but
Yeah.
you can still have good conversations with them. Um,
Nina, this probably won't come as a surprise to you. I'm a little older than you are. And a lot of us are super jealous right now of what 20 to 25-year-olds are experiencing across the country.
mhm.
When we were 20 to 25-year-olds, we were, you know, we thought we were being progressive and cool. We weren't. We were being goofy. We were stuck in our grandparents' churches. But this little bit of, Kerry Newhoff yesterday on his thing, is it a revival? I don't know. Statistically, there's a lot of people coming back to church, though, going to church, finding Jesus. If
Mhm.
they're finding Jesus, Jesus is finding them in college ministry and young adults. Are you seeing that? Greenwood is what? Greenwood's in Indianapolis, yeah?
Correct.
In the
It's about
suburbs.
half an hour south of Indy.
Are you seeing that in Indiana? Like we're seeing it. I mean, you see these things on going on across the country. Are you seeing evidence of this?
I would say so.
Yeah.
Um,
What's it look
yeah,
like there?
yeah. So being a part of the young adult ministry and kind of being able to help lead that in a way,
Hmm.
I'm one of the main people that gets to reach out to people when they
Yeah.
fill out the interest form for the young
Yes.
adult ministry, and it's
Excellent.
it's a lot of fun. And when I start talking to these people, pretty much at the core of it, they just want to connect with other people their age,
Yeah.
and they want to know that they have a place where they belong.
It's great.
And so a big part of that is there are all these young adults, but they don't know where their place is in the church, or they
Yeah.
don't know that the ministry exists.
Yeah.
And so within the past couple of days, I've talked to even just a handful of people that are new to Mount Pleasant or have never heard of the young adult
Yeah.
ministry, and they all just want to get connected and they
Yeah.
want to get to know people. So
How about
it's
that?
it's really cool to see that.
Nina, for, I don't know, 3 decades, forever, my adult life. Churches would say they're focused on kids, fifth grade and down. That's the game. That first grader, that third grade, if they when they get back in the minivan to go home after Sunday morning or Saturday night or Monday night or Thursday night, whatever nights, whatever your service get, and mom turns around and she'll say, What does she ask that kid? First time they wandered into church, someone invited them. Mom says what to little Nina, the third grader, sitting in the back. She's gonna say, ask a question. What do you think it
Probably
is?
ask, what did I do? Who did I talk to?
Did you have fun?
Hmm.
And if that kid says anything other than, yes, can we please come back? You're dead. I don't care how good the band is or how great. That's been true for 30 years. So church is
Hmm.
focused on that. And then student ministry, middle school, secondly important to little kids is the middle school because they got to come with their parents. But then you get to high school and growing churches for years. They go through ups and downs. When they're going through a down high school ministry doesn't stop at growing church, we would say, right? When we've seen
Hmm.
evidence of it is statistically true. Once those kids can drive, there's probably kids coming to your high school ministry that are at a church that's struggling and their
Hmm.
youth ministry sucks, right? I
Hmm.
shouldn't say that. I shouldn't record myself saying that. But they're growing churches survive that. And then we would say young adults in college, every church for 30 years would say, yeah, we don't have those people.
Hmm.
And suddenly they're there. Sometimes it's the cool Instagram reel of the D1 football team baptizing everybody in the lake with an arena packed. Other times at churches like yours, it's like, yeah, we don't know what's going on. But young adults and college kids are clicking an interest form to go to a mega church in the suburbs of Indianapolis. Can you explain why that's happening? This is a little normal for you because the last two or
Hmm.
three, since COVID, right? This stuff, this
Right.
spiritual thing, the downside is it's cool to be a Christian all of a sudden. That's dangerous. And Christian nationalism, that's dangerous, right? That
Yep.
we're dancing with some stuff that's super dangerous, but the awakening that's going on. Can you explain what and how? How do we get here? If you had to write the paper for Christianity Today or stand up Thursday this afternoon at the luncheon for youth pastors in America, like can you answer this? Because you are one of these people.
Hmm.
You're 20 something.
Hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Correct.
How did we get here?
Yeah, I think at the core of it, it's about the relationships. It's about wanting to know that people know you and they care about you. And I think
Okay.
a big
Let me
part of
pause.
that,
Let's go back and forth a little bit.
okay.
Forever, 20 to 25-year-olds they've wanted friends. My
Hmm.
generation gave you the TV show Friends. You're still
That's
watching it.
true.
It's still very popular
Hmm.
on Netflix. I
Yeah,
don't know
that's
why. It's
true.
very slow. We can't watch it anymore. We we watched it every third. We gave you that show. We've wanted friends. I who Moses when he was 20 to 20. I mean, he was alone, I guess. But most people have wanted friends.
Yep.
So I'm with
Right.
you. It is true, but it's never produced what we're experiencing.
Hmm.
So point one, people want relationships.
Hmm.
That's not the differentiator. Point two,
Hmm.
on your paper you're going to write.
Yeah. I
What do
think
you think?
when I think about it and just the generations today, I think a big thing that plays into it is just technology and
Okay.
the role that that plays in our culture today.
Okay.
I think people have gotten so just engrossed in technology and social media that they realize that they don't want that artificial
Yeah.
connection with people. They realize they want that genuine and authentic community. And I think the best place to find that is in a young adult ministry or just being part of the church somehow. And once you see that opportunity, you're like, oh, how can I get involved? Or what does that look like?
But generations before you found it at the bar. We found it at the club. We found it in athletics. Why now, Nina? That's what I'm trying to why? What is it in we're zooming out a little bit. You can't, it's always difficult and we experience this too. What's Gen Z like? What are boomers like? What's millennial? What's Gen Alpha like? You're dealing with it, in middle school
Hmm.
ministry. So we paint with broad brushes, so because we got to write an article or a book or a thing, and then we have specific people in our minds too,
Hmm.
and so it's hard to speak generally when you're living it. But I'm trying to put my finger on why now.
Hmm. It's a great question.
Don't
I
know.
think, yeah, I think just kind of spitballing,
Uh huh.
I think a lot of it just has to do with people are realizing that they need people in their life. They can't just
Yeah.
function alone by themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, first they need other people physically around them
Yeah.
that they can interact with and actually confide in. But then they also need someone else, and whether or not they realize that they need Christ,
Yeah.
he is the source of
Yeah.
the joy and the
Yeah.
peace and the comfort that we have, and
Yeah.
that comes from him alone. And
Sure.
then when you find Christ, you're able to kind of lead others back to
Mm-hmm.
him.
Desperation. They've watched us all. They look at people my age and they're like, well, I don't want to be like that guy. I don't want to be like them. I don't want to be like that. I've watched them try everything. Nothing's working. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know. I'm an old dude. Doesn't matter.
No, you're not
Doesn't
that
matter
old.
what I think. And that's the thing. Like we all listen to all these people my age get on, write the books and pontificate on their platforms. I'm like, who cares what that guy thinks? I know he's got a million followers. Who cares? I want to hear from the people in the weeds, in the suburbs,
Hmm.
because it's also cool to watch the Instagram reels of the, um, young adult Christian influencers.
Hmm.
It's super cool, man. I mean, arenas and the best music and the best whatever, and it's all cut and edited with the coolest cameras, and we're baptizing people, and it's cool. It's cool. It's not. It's no longer fringy, weird. It's like the athletes, the influencers, the cool
Hmm.
artists. I scrolled by one of the Kardashians talking about her personal relationship with Jesus Christ. I don't even know. I
Hmm.
never watched the Kardashians. And I'm just like, wow, it's cool right now. But then you get out in the burbs of Indianapolis, a very normalized Midwest in a mega church. You're in a big mega church.
Hmm.
It's
Right.
your church is great. I've been there. I've seen them. I've been in the student room. It's a
Hmm.
big old church that continues to reach people. And to me, that's more like I'm thinking of another church in Owensboro, Kentucky, just south of you. And they say things like, yeah, for the first time ever, we got college kids sitting down front, bringing their Bibles and their friends.
Hmm.
Now, it's not an Instagram reel with, D1 athletes baptizing them all. It's a dozen or 30, but they
Hmm.
can't explain it.
Hmm.
It's never happened. The people that have been on staff there for decades, like, what is going on? We need to throw fuel on this. And I'm like, yeah, how do we throw fuel?
Hmm.
How do we throw fuel on it? Because it will run out eventually if things trend like they always trend. Things are
Right.
popular and then things are and it comes and it goes and it's waves we try to explain it. We try to answer why it's here now.
Hmm.
That's all I know. The sociologists and the historians and the PhDs will try to tell us what actually is going on. I don't know. I don't know that they know. Based on this thing I watched yesterday, I don't know. They're there. You and
Yep.
your friends are in these churches.
Hmm.
So I say go with it.
Hmm.
All right. I love to hear how did we get here, Nina? Let's go back. Who were you in high school? Where did you grow up? Were you a band kid? Were you a cool kid? Were you an athlete? Were you a straight A student? Who is Nina in high school? And how did you get here?
Yeah. So I grew up in a very small town in Indiana called Colfax.
Hmm.
Most people have not heard of it. So I grew up in the country, grew up in public school,
Hmm.
I also grew up in the church my whole life. So that played a big part in why I wanted to pursue ministry. And it's a lot of it is because of the people at my home church, just the way that they poured into me and they just showed up for me every single week, whether that was in Sunday school or
Hmm.
in the youth group. And these people showed up for me not just at church, but just in my life. They would
Okay.
come to my games and
Tell us a
competitions and
story.
things like that.
Who?
So,
Tell us a story. Use their names. They might be watching. You never know.
yeah,
Who poured into you and what did that look like?
yeah. So there's a couple of families in my church where the parents would always serve in our youth group, and it was always volunteering. So they never got paid for any of the things that they would do, but they would open up their home to students. They would have us over for dinner and just for Christmas parties and things like that. But those people, they consistently show up for students. They love just being present with them and helping them know that they're cared for. So one of my favorite memories starts in high school from when this couple at my church, they would volunteer with the youth group. They would hang out with us, play games with us, do some of the lessons. But then when I got to college, it was, I think, my freshman year of college. So I was at Grace College in Indiana. And this couple, they were going on a small road trip or something. And so they were in the area where my college was at. And so they texted me and they were like, "Hey, can I take you to dinner?" And I was so sad because I was busy that evening. But I had some time after the event I was at. And so I met up with them and they had brought me like a sweet treat from one of my favorite local places. And so we just kind of took time to catch up and everything. And so this couple that's like hours away from where they live and from where we grew up in our church and everything, and they're coming to visit me at my school and they're just checking in and just wanting me to know that, hey, like we still care about you, even though you're not at home and you're not at church.
So
So
that
people like that just made a big difference for me.
isn't that amazing? Like you're not telling a story. The first story you tell, they open their home and then they brought you dessert. You're not telling a story of, yeah, you had deep theological questions and they answered all the mysteries of the universe because they were prepared. No, no,
Hmm.
they just showed up. That's so
Hmm.
cool.
Yeah.
How big is Colfax, Indiana? How many people live there?
The town is probably around 1,000,
1,000.
maybe even that.
999 now because you moved out. So a
Exactly.
thousand people in Colfax. And how big is
Exactly.
this church? How many people are, if we went in there and we counted everybody, how many people are there on a Sunday?
I'd probably say it's around 170, 180.
170. So we'll count them all twice. So that's a church of 400. That's what we say in church work, right?
Yep, there we go.
So Nina, from a small town in Indiana and a small church, someone said at some point, I see ministry. I see something in you. Who do you remember? And when do you remember hearing that? Or who said that first?
Hmm. I would say either middle school or high school. It was probably a mix of my parents and then also the leaders at my church, the ones that poured into me and kind of called out different qualities that they saw in me before I saw them in myself.
Mm.
And so I think that was a big part of just being encouraged to step outside of my comfort zone and kind of embrace the possibility of leading and possibly doing that in ministry.
Grace College up in Winona Lake, right? Is that where you went?
Yep,
My
correct.
son went
Yep.
there. I've spent some time. I've
Hmm.
got a lot of money poured into that place, as I recall.
Me too.
Yeah. And what took you to Grace College?
Yeah, so in high school, I knew that I wanted to go to a Christian school in Indiana. I wanted that community that was um, just full of that accountability, but also being able to be encouraging and just the relationships that are full of just being able to have fun, but also have those good conversations. and it was between Grace College and a few other schools. Um, and it really just came down to the visit, the people that I met, just the community that I got to experience on the visit itself. But then also the Winona Lake area is it's just awesome. It's right by the lake, and so they have a bunch of little shops and stores down there, and so the environment itself is just a beautiful place.
All right,
So that
we had the same experience.
yeah,
We had the
paired
same
with
experience.
the community, it was awesome.
You're a soccer player? You said something about playing sports or something, games or something.
Yes, I played soccer and basketball all the
Okay.
way up through high school.
Okay. Grace College, that's pretty serious athletics up there.
Yeah, they're pretty good up there.
Pretty good. Okay, you get to school and you're enrolling, you're moving in, and you're thinking, I'm here to study something, but here's what I think I'm going to do with my, what were you thinking? Do you remember?
Mhm. Yeah, so I was never fully sure on what I wanted to study or like the specific area of ministry I wanted to
Mhm.
pursue. All I really knew is that I loved being involved in the church and I
Okay.
wanted to pursue ministry, but I
Okay.
was not sure on the specific path.
So if
So,
you said to me, I knew I wanted, I I didn't wasn't exactly sure, but I knew I wanted to be in food service. I loved restaurants. My father worked at a restaurant. We've opened several, and I just knew this is my life.
mhm,
Am I going to be a chef? Am I going to be a GM? Am I going to be in front of house, wait staff? I don't know. Marketing? I don't know. I don't know, but I know I wanted. I would say, what is it about food industry? So I'm going to ask you. So, what is it about church work? What is it about the church? You, even as a freshman, you're like, I'm not sure what, but it's probably in a church. What is it about the church,
mhm,
Nina?
mhm. It's just the way that people show up for each other, the way that they're present. I mean, my whole life growing up, those people modeled what it looks like to be the church and just to love people and to model just the way that Christ lived when he was on earth. Even if you're not directly preaching the gospel to everyone you talk to, just being able to have those relationships with people and being able to pour into people, but have people that pour into you. That's my favorite part about the church. And so ever
So,
since being at my home church, I knew I wanted to be a part of that community and
mhm.
being part of
Yeah,
creating that culture somewhere, even though I
yeah.
wasn't sure exactly what it looked like.
There's some people that I've met in my life, megachurch pastors, big, they got some stuff going on. A lot of them came out of churches of 100, Nina. A lot of them. In fact, isn't Grace College, isn't there Billy Graham? Isn't there some room there where he and another, they're like kneeling, being prayed over or something? There's a
Hmm.
little bitty old church up there somewhere
Yep.
being commissioned
Yep.
or something.
Hmm.
Wheaton claims his name. I think that's more of a legal marketing thing, but I think he bowed his knee and was prayed for right up there at Winona Lake, as I recall.
Yes.
Is that
Yes. I've heard some
yeah.
stories about it.
Yeah, I don't know why they
It's
don't
pretty
like
cool.
sue Wheaton and get that back. But anyway, um, so you're not so I know I want to work at a church. I'm going to do something. And you start in school. Studying
Mhm.
what? Did you finish? Did you graduate?
I did. So I studied educational ministries.
Okay.
And so that major is probably pretty general for
Yeah.
ministry.
Hmm.
It was a really good mix of the Bible classes
Yeah.
and getting that foundation
Okay.
with scripture, but then it was also focusing on the relational side of it.
Sure.
And so thinking through teaching methods,
Yeah.
and then also just relating to people and understanding how different personalities function and
Yeah. Very
interact
cool.
with other personalities. So
Very cool.
it was very interesting.
I mean, I say often, if you're going to be a youth pastor or work with kids, you got to know what's going on in the brain of fourth graders.
Hmm.
You got to know what's,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
especially their parents, because that's what you're really up against. You've
Hmm.
already experienced it, I'm
Right.
sure. You're up against the
Oh yeah.
parents as much as you're up
Yes.
against anything
Yep.
else.
Yep.
Nina, what have you learned about Nina the last 18 months? You're 18 months into this 2 year thing there at Mount Pleasant. I know Mike Sheely, the guy with the mohawk, as we call him.
Oh yeah. Yep.
The middle school. Is he a middle school
Hmm.
guy? Middle
Yep.
school guy. What do you know? What have you learned about Nina in the last 18 months?
I feel like I've learned a lot. I want to say one of the things that sticks out the most is I've learned I am capable of more than I realize.
Oh, that's so good. Nina, can you just bottle that? And can we just you can't mass produce it. That's why we do residence. But man,
Right.
if there's something I mean, everybody needs to hear that. Okay, you're capable of more than you realize. What do you mean? Give me some examples of
Hmm. Yeah, I think going into the residency, I knew I wanted to pursue ministry. I had a feel for the things I was passionate for and gifted for, but I wasn't exactly sure how that would translate to youth ministry or young adult ministry or whatever area I was serving in. And so it's been a lot of people kind of calling out things that they see in me and giving me those opportunities to use the gifts that I have and the passions that I have. So part of it is just the people around me speaking into me and helping me identify the things that I want to do and the things that I'm good at or the things I'm not good at, and helping me kind of
that?
understand how I can hone those skills.
Yeah. What have you learned
So
you're not good at, Nina?
I am not great at delegating things.
Oh, you know what? Me neither.
Yeah, which is it's funny because I
Neither one
love
of us played college athletics, and neither one of us are good at delegating things. We have a lot in common.
we're basically twins.
We're basically, I mean, look at us.
Yeah,
Okay.
I see the resemblance. But
That's funny.
yeah, but it's
Okay, you're
funny because
not good
I
at
love
delegating. Why are you not good
yeah,
at delegating?
yeah. So I love collaborating with people. I love being around people all the
Yeah.
time. But
Yeah.
when it comes to delegating, I think it's hard for me to identify things that I need help with
Okay.
and being willing to kind of show someone how to do that or what my expectation
Yeah.
is, and then just giving it to them and
Yeah.
trusting it to them. I don't think it's necessarily that I don't trust the person, but I think
Right.
in my mind I have an expectation of what I
Right.
want it to look like.
Yeah.
And I'm learning that it's okay that things aren't always what I would like them to be or like them
Right.
to look like, as
Hmm.
long as I'm willing to invite people into the process of collaborating
Yeah.
and working with me. Learning that other people do things differently and
Sure.
there's no right or wrong way.
Yeah.
Uh, but just learning to work with other people, respect the way that they do things,
Have
and
you had
just
the
being willing
experience?
to trust
I
them.
think back to having an experience where, I mean, honestly, in my 20s, I would say I'm just doing stuff
Hmm.
and very, what would you say? Very forceful, amazing people. I could tell the story that I delegated it to them, but really they took it from me because they knew that I was in over my head and I couldn't, older people. I think back to some times when I'm like, oh, wow, this is way better than if I had held on to it.
Hmm.
But even in that moment, it's like I would make that mistake again. Like
Hmm.
lots of people around, if I could have slowed down, had the conversation, equipped them, released them, told them they were awesome, all the things, there could have been more fruit. Unfortunately, it was just as Kristen might say, my wife, the
Hmm.
co-founder, it was the Enneagram eights. It was the Enneagram threes, the loud, challenging people that said, "Let me do this, get away." But there were lots of other people with gifts in that body of Christ that I probably walked right by. Have you had an
Hmm.
experience like that yet?
Yes, I would say there have been times where I've had to just be very humble and
Yeah,
admit, I need help with this. I
yeah,
can't do it all on my own.
yeah.
And so there have been times where someone has asked me, like, hey, do you want me to do this? And there's a big part of me that wants to say, no, like, I got it.
Right. I
I can
got
do it
it.
myself. But then there are times where I'll say yes, like,
Yeah.
please help me with this. This is what I need. Can you go
Yeah.
and do this? And then they do it. And then I look back and think that it was just more pressure taken off of my shoulders because
Yeah.
I was willing to set my pride aside and
Hmm.
admit that I do need help.
Yeah.
But then there are still times now that I will just try to do it all on my own, even though I know that it's helpful to invite people in.
Yeah.
And I think that's just because I can be stubborn sometimes, or I want to try to do it all by myself. But when I do remember
Well,
that I need to
yeah. I mean, there's
ask
part
people
of
for
this,
help.
like I mean, you're a resident. I'm not a resident. I was an intern once. I was an intern
Hmm.
for 8 weeks and then the guy quit and it was a disaster. But I mean, we all are trying to prove ourselves.
Hmm.
And you get into these systems and it's like, well, I gotta make sure that somebody here knows that I'm worthy of whatever they're giving you today, and let alone what maybe in the future you want to stick around. If you have any thought at all, I want to be here past the residency. Well, I got to show them. I got to show them.
Hmm.
It's hard, isn't it?
Hmm.
It's hard. I know. You probably deal with it if you stopped and thought about it. Maybe it's a little more just intuitive, and you're not you're not consciously thinking that maybe.
Hmm.
But if you slow down long enough to think about it, competition. You're an athlete.
Hmm.
There were starters in basketball and soccer. There were starters. And then there were people that never got off the bench.
Hmm.
Practice dummies. You needed them for practice.
Hmm.
And who wants to do that? You want to be the starter. You want to be out there. You want to be
Hmm.
on the field.
Right.
So I mean, it's like you bring all of that into this real world. There's language and there's things that sound great about equipping the body of Jesus for works of these things that we adhere to. And then it's like, no, it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday, and I'm gonna show Mike I'm the man. I'm the guy. I'm the girl. You put me
Yep.
in, right? I don't. How
Right.
do we? How do we move beyond that, or should we move beyond
Hmm. Yeah, I think there is a part of that mindset that is there of, oh, I need to show them what I'm capable of and what I had the ability to do here. Um, I think there's a lot I've learned about just having that humble mindset, though, kind of paired with that of knowing that I'm just very grateful to be here and grateful for the opportunities that they've given me. And even if I don't end up staying at this church in a position, it's really cool that I've been able to learn so much and been able to grow so much through the opportunities that they've given me.
that?
But there
Amazing.
is there is that kind of competitive mindset in the
Sure.
back of my mind. It's like, oh, I need to do as best I can
Sure.
in the job that I've been given and the tasks that I've been given.
My camera's freezing, but I can hear you. Um, if I showed you, if you said to me, show me some pictures of highlights or videos. What's on your phone? You like look back over the last year, Dave, and show me some pictures. Like what have you loved doing? Where have you felt the most used and things and whatever. And I could show you if I said that to you of your time in your residency, you're like, yeah, let me find you this picture, and you start flipping through your phone.
Hmm.
What's in those pictures? What's in that video? What are the ministry wins that you've experienced so far?
Hmm. I think the pictures would include a lot of different people in them. I'm very relationally minded, and so I love being around people all the time and getting to meet new people. And so I've really loved just being in a position where I can create that space for people to connect with other people and know that they have people that care for them. So one of the recent examples I can think of is this past Sunday. Mike and I we split responsibilities for our middle school service. So
Mhm.
he handled being with the students and just having like a fun weekend of playing games with them. And then I took all of our leaders, our volunteers, and I did kind of a leader appreciation and training breakfast with them. And it was a blast because they're just a lot of fun to be around. But also getting to sit down with them and tell them like, hey, we appreciate what you do. We appreciate how you're present and you show up consistently. And so we want to keep pouring into you, but then we also want to hear your feedback on how we can improve the ministry, how we can support you better. And so I did a few activities with them where they gave us feedback on things that are going right, things that are going wrong, how we can improve different things. And so I was sitting there in the room and they were all putting sticky notes everywhere, giving feedback here and there and everything. And so I had snapped a picture and none of them saw it, but it was just a picture where I could kind of look back and just kind of think about how grateful I am for the people that serve with us and that are willing to show up and make that sacrifice every week. Um, so that's one of the pictures that comes to mind is just our leaders are just collaborating with each other. They're giving feedback. They're just having fun with each other. And they're wanting to be involved in the ministry and just being able to encourage people like them and just being encouraged by them as well. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. This couple that invited you into their home in the small church in Colfax and then brought you a dessert in college. What was their name? What's their first
Adam
names?
and Lisa.
Adam?
Hmm.
Adam and Lisa. It strikes me you've come back to relationships over and over, right?
Hmm.
It strikes me you just are trying to pay forward. Adam and Lisa did this for Nina, and now Nina is going to do this for hundreds of people. You stay in ministry, Nina.
Hmm.
You think that's the last leadership meeting you'll ever lead? I don't think so. I think you're going to be making space for people, whether it's in a classroom in a mega church in the suburbs of a Midwest city or it's in your own home in a small town. Who knows? Who knows where it's going, right?
Hmm.
But it seems like that was modeled to you. Like in our
Hmm.
coaching and strat, we'd be like, how do we chase the thread of this back? Where's this come from? You know,
Hmm.
if you had told me a story of someone, and these stories are, I've heard these stories of people that, they trace the first thing they think about is a teacher or a professor or some old book that rocked their world and they started reading dead people's books. And today, what are they doing? They're teaching. They want to be a professor at Grace. When I
Hmm.
asked you that, you're like, yeah, somebody had me over to their house. And then they tried to see me when I was and now look at how this gets deployed out in the body of
Hmm.
Christ.
Hmm.
It's pretty cool.
It is. It is.
Have you found the eighth grade girl around there yet? Who's the next Nina? Have you seen some middle school kids or high school kids, and you're like, I'm going to her soccer game. I'm going to her
Hmm.
basketball game. You see any of that?
Hmm. Yeah, there's a handful of middle schoolers and high schoolers that they have games and concerts and stuff, and I love that stuff. I love being able to just go and cheer them on. And so there was one student who was telling me about a soccer game she had coming up, and so I told her I would try to make it if I could. And so I get there and I'm sitting on the sideline and it's before the game. So she's about to go warm up and she runs over to the fence and she's like, Nina, you came.
Wow.
I was like, of course I did.
Oh,
And
wow.
just seeing her face light up,
Oh, man.
it's just so much fun being able to show up for students like that.
Yeah.
And they get so excited just by
Yeah.
you being there.
You,
And
you can't
so I
forget
love
that,
doing that
Nina.
because people did that for
People
me my
did
whole
that for you.
life.
That's
So
right.
yeah.
And was it a big deal? Well, it turns out it's a huge deal.
Hmm.
That day they showed up for you, it was just like this much. It was like if you're a boat, right? And they
Hmm.
show just like you just did for her, and it's like this much. Maybe they changed the atmosphere that much in you.
Mhm.
Now run that out forever for years and years,
Mhm.
and you're already experiencing it. You're already
Mhm.
in a place, and all of that little thing, all of those things matter.
Mhm.
When we think about
For sure.
leadership development, we think about the big moment, the diploma, the move the tassel, or the job, or the mega church, or the Instagram reel, or the baptism highlight videos. We don't think about going to soccer games. Turns out going to an eighth grader soccer game might be just as influential as being the Auburn basketball player baptizing all the kids at midnight after the arena rock show on
Mhm.
Instagram.
For sure.
Dude, that's cool. Nina, this is all I need to not quit for another. Oh, this will get me till noon. I was going to say another year. No, I'll need more than that. But this is so encouraging to watch it play out, to just watch it
Mhm.
play out. You are a I think when you started there, the plan was for you to be there a year.
Mhm.
If you'd or 10 months. If you'd left at the end of a year, what would you have missed so far, do you think?
I think miss I would probably miss most of the residency or the purpose of the residency, all of the experience.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of the first year was observing and learning how things work and developing the foundation for those
Yeah.
friendships with everyone on
Yeah.
staff and at the church.
Yeah.
But this second year has been a lot of a lot more hands-on and taking ownership of things
Right.
and kind of learning how I can make them my own. And so I would have missed a lot of growth and a lot of learning.
Listen, sitting on the bench of middle school basketball and soccer, observing other players, you need some of that.
Hmm.
But there's nothing like being in the game
Hmm.
to
For
sharpen
sure.
your ability to it just exponentially better at the end of that hour versus sitting there watching it at the end of that year, at the end of that month or day. So you're living that.
Hmm.
And listen, if you've watched this, I'm betting a lot of people are watching this one all the way to the end because it's a great story. And you want to launch a residency at your church like Nina's been, you need to talk to Nina. Nina will steer you. That's great, Nina. We didn't, and what's funny is we should have prepped for this conversation. I never do that. When
That's
we
all right.
started, I said, what did I say to you before we hit record? What did I
You
say?
don't really have a plan. You
I
just
have
kind
no
of start
plan for this
talking.
conversation. I don't know where this is going. I
Yeah.
remember
I
your
kind of like it
name and I
though.
remember the guy with the mohawk.
Yep.
And I know your
That's all
church
you
and your
need.
pastor. And man, what an investment that they've made in you, it sounds like.
Hmm. Yeah. I'm very grateful.
You're very great and you're going to pay that forward for a long, 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 long time.
Hmm.
It's so exciting. Thanks for the time. We will all be saying, I knew her when. I knew her when. Remember that? The girl that went to the soccer game of the kid, the girl that was invited over to their house. I've already forgotten their names. Andy,
That's close. Adam.
Adam
Adam
and
and
Lisa.
Lisa. Yep.
Remember
Yeah.
Adam and Lisa invited her over? That stuff stacks up.
Hmm.
Faithfulness of these things.
Hmm.
Occasionally you meet the rock stars, but normally it's that kind of stuff. Somebody invites somebody over. A decade later, somebody's going to somebody's soccer game, and the body of Christ moves forward. These
Hmm.
relationships that mean so much to you. I can't
Hmm.
imagine I would meet you in the future and you would be sitting in a cubicle farm with a headset mic on
Hmm.
doing marketing phone calls. I can't imagine. I think you're going to be at a soccer game. I think
Yeah.
you, or you're going to be
Me too.
teaching 10 leaders somewhere and you're going to be saying, don't forget, you got to go to soccer games. If you're going to lead
Hmm.
kids, you better go to the,
Hmm.
that's the good stuff.
Hmm. Yeah. I hope I'm still doing that.
I think you will be. Nina Gable, Mount Pleasant Christian Church, Greenwood, Greenwood, Indiana.
Yep. You got it.
If you're ever in town, swing by. She'll have a cup of coffee with you.
That'd
Thanks,
be
Nina.
fun. Thank you, Dave.